when you became a presenter on GB News, you agreed to their editorial charter.
Yeah, that's true.
Which you broke, right?
Well, I don't know if I've broken it.
You definitely did. I mean, I've read it. It says you must respect the opinions of others and those people. And we've already agreed, not to go over old ground, but we've already agreed your comments were disrespectful to Ava. So you did break it, which is, look, people are going to break rules and that happens.
Yeah.
So I have to say, from where as an outside observer, I think your criticism of GB News is unreasonable in this situation. They have to. They have to suspend you.
No, I'm not saying don't suspend
and probably
me.
sack you.
Yeah, I'm not.
And therefore, how can they defend your right to say it if they're suspending you for it? How can they do that? From their perspective, they're going, we're regulated by Ofcom. Laurence has broken our rules. He's broken Ofcom rules.
Yeah.
So I think the issue you're fighting against here is that GB News is an Ofcom regulated broadcaster and not a YouTube channel, let's say, right?
So they also, but you know, just to, again, in terms of context,
well, let's hash this out.
In terms of context, I told them exactly what I was going to say, including the word shag. I said, who would want to shag that? And they were giggling away. And they were giggling away right up until the moment the mob came for them. So yes, I've gone past their editorial thing. Also, by the way, I'm totally happy to get sacked.
No, I know, but I'm saying your criticism is unfair, it seems to me.
Well, I think GB News are, what is the point in labelling yourself the home of free speech if you're going to cancel people for free speech? It's an oxymoron. Therefore, if your business model is to be the home of free speech, then either campaign to have Ofcom removed or do it online. Surely, because if you can't, Ofcom have proven that free speech is not celebrated in this country. We look at the whole point of GB News existing in the media landscape was because every single other news channel was saying exactly the same thing. So GB News came on and the rest of the media have looked at them and said, we'll get them. Somehow we'll get them. Someone will do it. And if it hadn't been me that trod on the mine, it would have been someone else who trod on the mine at some point. You know, and that's what would have happened. But what scares me is the fact that everyone wants them shut down. That's what scares me. Now, I think that they should have been a bit ballsier about the whole thing, if I'm honest. I think what they should have done is, instead of utterly completely condemn me, they should have turned around, they've possibly phoned me and said, listen, you blah, 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 blah. What on earth was going on, and let me at least explain, as I've explained here, what's going on, and then take a pause to work out what is their position on this.
Have you spoken to anybody then?
No one's called me at all. I was on my phone. And I you know, when you get those news things appear, and it wrote like Laurence Fox suspended from GB News, and I actually laughed because I thought that's so funny that no one would even send you a message or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, look, to be fair to GB News, they are, I mean, it's a tough situation to be. It is. It is a tough situation because, for context, for people watching from overseas, they've got an advertising boycott against them. So they're hemorrhaging money. They've got people pressuring them. They've got people criticising them. They've got the entire media ecology against them. And all of a sudden,
broadcast ecology.
Broadcast ecology, that's the one.
Got it right.
You know, so... in a way, it is understandable, Laurence.
Yes, no, I'm not going, it's all their fault.
Yeah.
It's all my fault. I think we've gone through the...
of course.
I think we've gone through the struggle session of it's all my fault.
No, I hope it hasn't been a struggle session.
No, because I think, look, you know, to me in my brain, I just find the whole idea of Ofcom stunningly ridiculous.
Well, this is what I'm saying to you is you're blaming GB News
when
for being regulated.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what you're fighting against here. And by the way, just so that it doesn't feel too much like a struggle session, particularly on the broadcast ecology point, there's actually a few videos that I want to play for people to get a little bit of context about what can happen on other channels and what people do at other channels, and no one demands those channels are shut down. So we have a clip of the man we just saw, Adam Bolton. This is how he used to speak to staff when he was on Sky News. By the way, he still works for Rupert Murdoch, so he's having a go at GB News. I wonder if that's a complete accident. Anyway, let's play this clip.
Yeah. If Beth comes, put her in there. And then she can go away. I know. Just put the fucking seat in. Have you got the grab? Yeah. Yeah, well, she's got to come and fucking sit here if she wants to be on telly.
Senator, it's the great BJ Jones speaking here. No.
Well, in the past few minutes, Mr. Johnson arrived. What the fuck? Sit down there! Stop fucking around! Come on, and then come on. Yes. Well, Beth is here. You can see Boris Johnson's speech when it happens around lunchtime, but Beth's here.
Great respecter of women, that guy.
Yeah, but I actually defend him.
You do?
Because, yeah, he wasn't on air. And if you I mean, God forbid what GB News have got stored in the cupboard of things I've said when we're not on air.
I can see why you're defending him.
No, but I don't care because I'm saying he wasn't on air.
Yeah.
I'm much more interested in the woman this morning who turned around yesterday on Times Radio in the middle of the day and went, Laurence Fox is a dick. Because I wonder, is that the same level of...
Well, right, and actually,
know.
perhaps more to your point, we have a clip from Sky News talking about the Martin Bashir affair, who, of course, tricked Princess Diana. We don't even need to play it because I think we can retell the story. He tricked, using fraudulent documents, Princess Diana into giving an interview while working at the BBC. Russell Brand, Saxgate happened while he was working at the BBC. I mean, we could go further into the history of BBC presenters' behaviour on and off screen without making this too noncy. So all of that was wrong. I think all the people were reprimanded, of the ones that were available to be reprimanded at the time. But nobody called for the BBC to be shut down. No. Philip Schofield's behaviour didn't result in ITV being shut down or anyone calling for it to be shut down. So I
think we might have done, mate.
Yeah, no one was paying attention to us.
Likely.
They are now. So my point is, where I do agree with you is there is clearly a politically motivated campaign to shut down GB News by, let's be honest, their rivals.
Yeah, and but also the establishment.
Yeah.
The establishment narrative. So this media ecosystem, or whatever, I've forgotten it now. What's it called? Broadcast ecology.
Yeah.
That reaches out, doesn't it? Because it's a massive institution, the BBC, and stuff like that. The broadcast ecology reaches out into the cultural ecology of what is and isn't acceptable and where the Overton window sits within society. GB News, you're right, I should separate out my criticisms. GB News wanted to shift that. To do its best to provide, let's face it, 51% of the population with something to watch that they might learn something from or agree with. And GB News often listens to its audience. It doesn't tell them what to think. It doesn't use that broadcast ecology thing, but it all expands out to fill up our entire culture. So, newspapers will write the word she. I was speaking to a journalist the other day and I was like, why do you go a picture of a big, scraggly, bearded man with a wig on and say, woman arrested and charged with sex offences, she will be sent, why do you do that? And they say, it's just easier for the sub-editors to do it. Because if someone doesn't write she, then you're going to get a complaint from someone else going, but he says it's a woman. And it broadens out and out and out and out and out and infects our culture. And I think I've just rambled myself into a corner. What was I trying to say?
No, you were talking about the broadcast ecology.
Yeah. So the broadcast, separating out Ofcom is right. Why is off-communists, which is what they are, essentially, anything with com on the end of it is it just stands for communism. LCOM, we get LCOM, the Reclaim Party, L-communists, we get fined, investigated relentlessly, non-stop, unlike any other political party would, and we're tiny like this. So I think there's a determined effort, not only to shut down GB News, but I think there's a determined effort to shut down anyone who is confident and okay to share an opinion.